Oh, are you guys about to have more fun than a human being is allowed to have? It turns out that every single one of you gun owning, gun toting, Bible believing Americans across this incredible nation, patriots in your own right, you guys love you some gun control. So much so that they published new reporting showing that it's obviously true. Guys, this is going to make your jaw drop to the floor. The things that they're actually expecting you to believe about yourself. Now, of course, everything is going to be linked in the description box below. I bring the receipts for every single video. It's part of the standard operating procedure for this Freedom Quest that we're doing every single day, time, and evening together. And I will see you every single time that notification bell goes on. So make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on because we are grinding towards 600,000. Guys, we are picking up steam, and it's because of you guys. So send this stuff out. Make sure you hit that like button because we deliver that freedom 2A style only. You can find at Langley Outdoors with your host, Braden. All right, listen, I see audio, I see video. We are live. Absolutely, we are. Let's get into this. All right, the beautiful bastions of freedom, the BBOF. I've got some stuff on my X profile that I've been waiting for the right time to drop for you guys. I see the emojis. I see everything flying in the chat. Thank you guys so much for that. We got to keep that energy up because that is the way forward in this new YouTube algorithm. All right, listen, as everyone's filtering in here, I just want to start an interesting conversation talking point. You guys can let me know in the chat, but while we let everyone filter in. Guys, I've been thinking about it a lot. And you know, there comes a time when, like, for example, I alluded to my mentor in the space. There's been a lot of pieces around a gentleman named Sam Paredes, who is a big fixture in the community, who unfortunately just passed away. A lot of stuff has been said about it, and thank you for your kind words on that. But in reflecting upon that, something that he and I spoke about a lot, I want to bring to the forefront and get your thoughts again while everyone's filtering in. You guys know that thing that happens in the gun world that a company will make a mistake. You can plug it in. You can insert company here. It doesn't matter. There's always someone that we can be outraged at. And then we kind of do this thing where they're the bad child at the moment and they're going to get the spankings until another bad child comes along, and then we'll see if we decide to forgive them or not. Here's the thing that I want to ask, and if you guys know what I'm talking about, of course, all these different brands. Like in the past few years, there have been multiple victims. In fact, there's a little YouTube economy all around it. But at what point do we start to utilize issues, failures, and opportunities to provide feedback for companies to get better for the better of a whole environment versus just canceling them? I don't know. That's something that Sam and I used to always talk about, and I just want to get your thoughts over there in the chat. I'm just curious. But it looks like we have enough in here. Let's get into this. I will come back to the chat if you guys go in and comment on that. But let's get into why you guys love you some government control. All right, so there's some backstory to this, and I cannot wait. I really hope you guys do something on that in the chat, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on the whole, death to anybody. John Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solution. Now, John Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solution, understand, guys, this is a Bloomberg-funded operation, as in Michael Bloomberg, as in the guy who funds Everytown for Gun Safety and all the gun control in the United States. That guy. Don't worry, it's non-biased. Okay, well, everything's always linked in the description box below, and you guys are just now getting in here. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We're going to go to a little bit of a bullshit fest. All right, John Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Do you feel educated yet? Yeah. This is all about how bad you guys love being daddied and government hardered. Yeah. National Survey of Gun Policy. Ooh, this is going to be good. A 2025, before I show you some of these numbers, because we're just going to have fun and tear this asunder the whole way through. A 2025 nationally representative survey conducted by researchers at the John Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions found wide support for gun violence prevention policies across political lines and among both gun owners and non-gun owners. Why don't we just dive in a little bit and you tell me at which point you start to smell a little bit of something that I'm stepping in, okay? All right, let's just get into this. I'm so looking forward to the chat. This is awesome, and I already see you guys coming into the chat over here. That's awesome. I'm gonna look into the comments. All right, 74% of Americans support, guys. That's 3/4 of you gun-owning Americans. Laws that require a person to lock up the guns in their home when not in use. Require a person. That's a safe storage law. Did you guys know 74% of Americans overall, and 62% of gun owners? Do you guys believe that gun owners, at the rate of 62% of y'all, want to have mandatory state level, federal level requirements on where you can and when store a firearm in your own home? You believe 62%? Okay. Well, maybe we get over here to some, maybe there's some other intellect we can glean here. Non-gun owners, 81, and Democrats, 84. Well, that's the same thing. I don't know why we have two different things there. And 65% for Republicans. So let me get this straight. Republicans are so fudtastic, and gun owners are so government me harder daddy, that 65% of them, of Republicans, and 62% of gun owners want mandatory safe storage laws. That was a hell of an opening salvo from Bloomberg. Let's continue. Lots more to dive into. All right. Tony Gonzalez answered this survey, vote Herrera. Nice job, Jordan. Thank you for the super chat. All right. Here you go. We're just going to keep going through this, people, and hopefully this is adding a little bit of entertainment along with this bullshit. Only 24% of Americans support allowing a person to carry a loaded firearm in public without obtaining a permit or a license. Do you guys believe that 24% of Americans support allowing a person to carry a loaded firearm in public without obtaining a... You know the real interesting irony on that? I don't even need to ask people. I can literally just say there are 29 states out of 50 that have constitutional carry. 29 out of 50 is a lot closer to 60% than 24%. And I can just do that on a high level off the top of my head. But don't worry, guys. They actually expect you to believe this stuff. And again, we're only on number dos. Let's keep on trucking. You pesky Republicans. Ugh. Oh, another high number. 72% of Americans support requiring a person to obtain a license from a local law enforcement agency before buying a gun. Oh, dear God. 72%. Johns Hopkins University, or School of Medicine, School of Gun Violence Prevention, funded by Bloomberg, is putting out numbers to the rate of 72% of you are saying that before you can buy a gun, you have to have a license from the state. Do you guys believe that? And by the way, the emojis that are flying over here, amazing help for the channel. Thank you, and it's free. All right. Let's dive into this number a little bit, because if you'll recall, North Carolina actually overrode the veto of the Governor Cooper at the time 2 years ago when they got rid of this exact same provision, which was put in place by Democrats in the early 1900s and late 1800s to prevent minorities from buying guns without the sheriff signing off on it. But don't worry, guys. 72% of Americans support it. Okay, 61% of gun owners. Oh, 63% of Republicans. A permit to purchase. Guys, they're not even, I mean, they are dropping the whole pretense of, no, we're just doing this fair. I mean, it is so ridiculous what they're actually putting forward as fact. 72% of Americans and 61% of gun owners. Yeah. Hey, look, another 72%. Guys, I'm just going to keep on rolling. 72% of Americans support funding community-based gun violence prevention programs that provide outreach, conflict mediation, and social support for those at high risk of gun violence. 67% of y'all think that, huh? See this right here? 67% of gun owners. I kind of pride myself on being close to you guys and being part of the grassroots level connection to bigger, broader things and bringing them to you. I don't feel like 67% of you want that. Just like I don't feel like 72% of you want a license to purchase a gun. And the other part, 24%, think you need to have a permit in public. I don't know, guys. Something tells me this might be lies that they're setting up for their next gun control push. I mean, is it me? Is it you? Is it them? I don't know. Maybe we're off base. Let's continue because there's even higher numbers. Guys, this is legitimately a real report. 77% of Americans support, wait for it, allowing family members to ask the court to temporarily remove guns from a relative who is at risk of harming themselves or others. 71% of gun owners believe in red flag laws and extreme risk protection orders. Do you guys Do you guys think that's accurate? While you're pondering that, I had a super chat come in just now. Let me jump into it. Jordan Wheeler says, distortion of statistics is a great sign of how much they are panicking. Yes, Jordan, because we are stepping on the political throats of the gun control movement. And we're going to continue doing it on this channel, which is why this is the place to be, because we're cutting edge. All right, let's keep on going. You 71% of gun owners who love red flag laws. Let's keep on going. Look, another number. 77% of Americans support allowing licensed healthcare clinicians to ask the court to temporarily remove guns from a patient who is at risk of harming themselves or others. So 70% of gun owners, you guys out there watching this video, the 650 people in here right now, all 70% of y'all, so that's around 450 to 500 people, of the 650 in here, believe that you are perfectly fine with medical professionals reporting you to a court and having your gun rights taken from you without due process. When you put this in perspective, 70% of the 650 is right around 500. You really believe that's the case? Look at the comments. I'm not even looking, I know what it says. That's just so much crap. What are they smoking, says Randy Wood. Indeed. All right, let's keep on going. Guys, this is cutting edge statistics. 76% of Americans support allowing law enforcement officers to ask the court to temporarily remove guns from an individual who's at risk of harming themselves or others. You know, it's weird. It's something I noticed. So up here, where we just covered it, 77% of Americans and 70% of gun owners were fine with a medical professional doing it, because that makes total sense. It's a medical professional. It's a clinician. But when you go back down here to law enforcement, it drops to 68. What? People trust clinicians more than law enforcement officers? Again, ponder that while I go to this super chat that just came in. All right, this is from John Wynn with $9.99. When Bloomberg was mayor of New York City, he patted state regents bomber. I don't know what that meant. By not letting kids take the test if they might numbers. By not letting kids take the test, they might fail it, and saying he brought the numbers up. Yeah, because these guys manipulate stuff. That's what they do. Good Lord. Let's continue. You red flag law loving, permit to purchase loving gun owners out there. Okay, yeah. 82% of Americans support prohibiting a person subject to a temporary domestic violence protection order from having a gun for the duration of the order. You know what's interesting about that one? No conviction. So if a dude, because let's face it, it's 2025. So if a dude goes to a court and says, my girlfriend's beating me up, and he gets a domestic violence restraining order against her, because again, it's 25 and the demographics of this are probably more accurate to what I'm describing. She loses all of her gun rights forever until that domestic violence restraining order is done with. And 82% of you guys want that, huh? 79% of gun owners. The people who have a native and natural distrust of a governing body to take your gun rights. 79% of y'all want that. Yeah, what you're smelling is what we're stepping in. Yeah. A bullshit. A bullshit? A bullshit. Super chat from 95 Path. They're lying. Do these people provide legitimate citations? No? Why not? Of course they're lying. That's the whole point of my sarcastic delivery. Performed to perfection, I might add. There's some more sarcasm on the sarcasm. Stacking the layer effect. Anyway, let's keep on going. Domestic violence restraining orders. God, you gotta love it. Here is the national survey. You've got 2023 survey results all the way back to 2013. And you know, Katie mentioned something that was very interesting. And I'm going to see if I can do it on the fly, because she dove into these numbers as well. This is the one from 2023. The one I just walked you through was 2024. Let's go up here to, let's just start at the top, because she actually mentioned a specific decline in Democrat support for these exact same things. Let's get it. Let's see. This is removing Democrat. Okay, this is the domestic violence restraining order. So that's right down here on 2025, the one we just did. All right, so Democrats. See this where it says right here? DVPO? DVPO? Domestic Violence Protection Order. Democrats are at 89 in the new one. Okay, well, now Democrats are pretty staying still, 88.8. So that's pretty standard. They like that gun control taken away part. There's something else that dropped, though. license from ownership. Again, I'm doing this on the fly. Just I'm trying to remember what Katie said when she was doing this, because she did a short. And by the way, check out her channel, Stone Second Sense. She is the next generation of what we do on this channel, and she's doing great. But it's worth a look. Stone Second Sense. All right. Was it licensure? Here we go. Democrats 87.3. What? Again, this is the 72% of Americans requiring a person to obtain a license from a local law enforcement agency before buying a gun. Requiring to obtain a license, local law enforcement before buying a gun. 87.3 in 2023. And now it's 82. It dropped 5 points. What about Republicans? Let's do this. Republicans 61.2, 63. You guys, Republicans are going up on this and Democrats are going down. Really? And then gun owners, 64%, 61%. So what they're actually putting forward here in their statistics are that in 1 year, from 2023 to 2024, Democrats lost support for permitting to purchase by a pretty large margin, about 5 percentage points, but Republicans went up and gun owners stayed right about the same. Guys. All right. I see some super chats that just came through. Thank you guys so much for those. Let's get into this. F far left Democrats. I cannot wait to go back in these chats real quick. All right, $10 super chat from Tommy Damer. Thank you very much, Tommy. You get a heart. We got another one from Marauder for a $2. Former Californian. It's completely BS. It is completely BS, and it is from California, which is kind of synonymous. Heart for you. Kyle Beckman with a $5 super chat says, James Lindsay proved years ago that even academic studies are agenda-driven BS, and peer-reviewed means nothing. That is absolutely correct. All right. So if you guys were just getting in here, I'm actually going to do a poll before I go back and read the comments, because I love this interaction with you guys. It's really fun, and thank you for the emojis in the chats, because all this engagement is how we honestly move forward. And I would love for you to be part of the cutting edge of the freedom movement that is developing. All right. I'm going to start a poll. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and that question is something I alluded to at the very beginning, and then I will go back to read the comments. When a company makes a mistake in our space, what should we do as consumers? There we go. All right, the first one. Burn them at the stake forever. Stake and salt the earth. Burn them at the stake and never. Just burn them at the stake. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Then the next one. Provide feedback. Opportunity for redemption. And then the third one. Burn them at the stake, feedback, opportunity for redemption, hold off until changes. All right, I'm going to start that poll, and then I'm going to go back and look at this, because I want to know what you guys think, because I think that legitimately we have a very big concern that we're hollowing out our own industry. But anyway, I'm curious on that. Jeremy Willis with the super chat for $5 must have hired the same pollsters the Cracker Barrel folks hired. That is it. You get a heart and you get a like. That is absolutely correct. That is hilarious. All right, I'm gonna go to the beginning of this chat where I asked you guys what you think about this, as I am letting the poll run through. No one asked me about any of that. That's absolutely right, Shane. No, that's BS. Nope, I'm not in that 62%. Bullpucky. All lies. It is. Bloomberg, who was polled. It's so stupid. Hit that like button. Yes, absolutely. 40%. Straight bull. Exactly. Allow. Going to the comments I mentioned. Constitutional carry needs to go national. Yes, it does. Man, you guys are on it. Click all the clicky thingies. That's very good. That needs to be a t-shirt. Coaster Fish, good job. Click all the clicky thingies. I call BS. They didn't ask me. Again, fudge. If you only ask the anti-gunnies, show me the other rights codified. It ain't mathing. It ain't mathing. That's exactly right. who they pull, the DNC. That's hilarious. North Carolina needs to override SB 50. That is coming up on the 26th. North Carolina's constitutional carry push is coming this week. I've got updates on that coming this week. Don't you worry. I've got that coming, Shane. I actually genuinely have messages in my inbox in X around that topic. We don't need permission to own a gun. That is exactly correct. All right, so I am going to do a brief little recap for you guys while you're finishing out that poll, because I'm genuinely really curious what you guys think about this. If you just now are getting in here, John Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions, the Bloomberg paid for gun violence center, has a new polling out, and it turns out you guys just love taking tyranny right up on the butt. I mean, it's just, I don't know how else to say it. It just turns out that you guys just love it so much, you're just jonesing for it. With numbers like 74%, 24%, think you should have rights. 72% of Americans take your guns away. 72 take your guns away. 77% you have to have permission to buy from the government. 77 removing guns from people. 76 law enforcement removing people. 82% can't get guns if you've been accused of domestic violence. I mean, all the who's who of all the hot button topics in the gun world. It turns out that you guys just love it. This is what you're here for. You're here for the grind of tyranny upon your I almost just said something bad. You just love it. You just love tyranny. That's what you love. Make sure you guys are following me at Braden LOA on X. All right, let me look at this poll. I'm really curious because we're at the high level time limit, and I want to make sure. All right, I am going to end this poll. It turns out 132 of you voted. I'm going to end that poll right there. Here is what you guys just said around the topics of burn a company to the stake if they make a mistake, or provide them feedback, give them an opportunity to change, or just wait and see. Hold off until changes. So, 135 of you of the 666, okay, someone needs to either leave or needs to join, because that is not a good number. Of those 135 voted, totals. Feedback opportunity for redemption, 46%, which I think is fair. Burn them at the stake, which is 33%, which is about 1/3 of the population, which again, I could see that being the truth, being factual. And hold off until changes, 20%. So effectively, 66% of you guys, so 2/3, are either doing the hold until they change, or they give you feedback for a change. That actually gives me hope in the world. I mean, honestly, the reason I did that poll, and I'm gonna do the super chat. I'll tell you why I did that poll. Mike H. for $5 super chat said, what's the percentage of Americans that trust the government? That number should be the number that coincides with the thought of gun control. Very good point. Here's the interesting thing about that. Congressional overview has like 11% approval rating last time I checked. 11. As in opposite of 89% of the population. Like 11% likes Congress. And I think those people are just brain dead. Honestly. Because keep in mind, 30% liberal, 30% conservative, and then like 40 or like 30% in the middle, 35, 40% in the middle, somewhere in that spectrum. So you're telling me 11%, like somewhere in there, there's like government me harder. Anyway, so here's the thing. Here's the reason that I did this. Yes, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join the second press, says JR Pestle. That's right, JR. Thank you so much, and I look forward to you jumping into the exclusive membership meeting we had coming this week. All right, listen, here's the thing. Here's why I did that poll. Again, those numbers were 46%, 33%, 20%, roughly 66% said hold off and provide feedback until something pops off and they fix something. I have a very real concern that in our space we're burning out and we're hollowing out our entire inventory system, our entire infrastructure, all of our corporate structures, all of our support systems, our manufacturing, because we have a problem with something that they do and we don't go to the feedback stage, we go straight to the burned in hell stage. And I'm not really afraid to say that that's where we are, because I honestly think that there's an opportunity to change for the betterment of improving services and improving products. And you can plug in, I'm not talking about any one organization. You can plug anything you want in that's been a controversy in the last 2 years. You can talk about SIG, you can talk about USCCA, you can talk about SDI, you can talk about Silencer Central, you can talk about all of them. But at the end of the day, I think the conversation needs to shift from how bad do we burn them and do we salt the ground and the ashes and make sure nothing can ever grow again, and then feedback to change, and it has to be somewhere in there, because we're doing worse detriment to ourselves, in my opinion. But I don't know. That's something that I was thinking. I don't know. There'll be more on that coming in the future, but I did want to get your thoughts on it. But I do appreciate the polling. That's really, really awesome. You guys did amazing. Shane says the second press is the best $10 you can spend. Shane is correct. JR Pestle is correct. We are grinding in ways that the left can't even see coming. We are going futurist on their asses, and they will be relegated absolutely to the dustbin of history. But with that, guys, listen, I love each and every one of you, just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you for the emojis. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for being a red-blooded gun-loving and gun-bearing, freedom-loving American. I will see you on the next time that we gather. Notification bell, subscribe, like. See you later.